Welcome to our channel, where we uncover the most interesting stories, inspiring journeys of founders around the world. Today, we're going to dive into the luxurious world of Louis Vuitton, a brand synonymous with luxury, class, and a touch of controversy. But before we get to Louis Vuitton, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these fascinating stories. I trust that you don't want to miss this one. Louis Vuitton is the most luxurious, classy, and one of the most expensive fashion brands in the world today. Its CEO, Bernard Arnault, is the second richest person globally, not far behind Elon Musk. If Tesla's stocks dip a bit more, Arnault might reclaim the top spot. However, it's interesting to note that this company had humble beginnings, traced back to someone uneducated and even homeless for nearly 3 years. Louis Vuitton is truly a rags-to-riches story, yet the company has faced numerous controversies, from the destruction of its stores during the France-Russian War to ownership disputes. But hold up, rewind a bit. Louis Vuitton didn't start off with a silver spoon. Nope, it had humble beginning. Louis Vuitton's journey began with him being born on August 4, 1821, in Arnault, France. Raised on a farm by a farmer father and a hatmaker mother, Louis spent much of his childhood tending to crops and livestock. Not exactly the glamorous start you'd expect, right? Unfortunately, he lost his mother at the age of 10, and later his father remarried a cruel stepmother. Unhappy with his living situation, Louis decided to run away from home at the age of 13. Chapter 1. Louis Vuitton becomes a street-smart vagabond. Louis left his hometown Arnault and decided to walk to Paris. It can be said that at that time, Arnault was a rural area where job opportunities were quite limited, and Paris was a big city with a plethora of opportunities. However, there was one problem. The distance from Arnault to Paris was about 365 kilometers, which is really far, not to mention that Louis had no money, no food, and no place to stay. At that time, he was very young, but Louis didn't give up and continued to strive hard, taking on any available job to survive. He even ended up living on the streets and in the woods to make ends meet. Chapter 2. Rise, Fall, and Resurrection. Turns out, the jobs Louis took on during his journey yielded new skills related to metal, fabric, and wood. During this time, Louis spent 3 years to reach Paris. In 1837, Louis arrived in Paris and worked for the famous and skilled trunk maker of his time, Monsieur Maréchal. After working for a considerable time at that trunk maker's place, Louis became the most favored trunk maker among buyers who came and shopped at that time. His expertise eventually led him to become the personal trunk maker for the French Empress Eugénie de Montijo, the wife of Emperor Napoleon III. Working with the French Empress opened up many new opportunities for Louis, and eventually he married a woman and opened his first trunk shop in 1854. At that time, Louis's competitors were selling trunks made of leather with a round shape at the top. However, Louis chose to sell with a different design. His trunks had a flat top, and they came with a key to prevent theft. In just 2 years, everyone considered Louis's trunks a must-have, and everyone wanted one. But, as fate would have it, the French-Russian War hits, throwing a wrench into Louis's success story. Louis faced setbacks during the France-Russian War. During the war, Louis is forced to close shop and seek refuge in a tiny camp. The war ends, Louis returns home, only to find his store in shambles and his materials stolen. He's back to square one, relying on meager savings. But fear not, glam enthusiasts, because by 1872, Louis successfully brought his business back to the surface, and with his creative skills, he introduced a new box pattern. This new design was loved by many because it was much more modern and stood out in the eyes of many people. In 1885, Louis expanded and opened a shop in London, where at that time, London was a globally connected city as it was a financial centre and the capital of England. Thus, Louis's business now began to operate on an international level. The majority of his buyers were wealthy individuals like millionaire nobles from America and even explorers. However, in 1892, at the age of 72, Louis had to pass away, and the cause of his death is still unknown. But oops, the drama doesn't end there. Chapter 3. Business Drama and Showdown. After Louis passed away, his son Georges Vuitton took over the business. Georges partnered with American General John Wanamaker. John began selling Louis Vuitton products in his department store in New York City. In 1896, Georges created a monogram pattern with intertwining flower motifs of L and V to honor his father. Georges passed away in 1936, handing over the business to his son, Gaston Vuitton. Gaston, in turn, passed it on to his son, and through various successions, one of his sons-in-law, Henri Racamier, took control. Henry, as it turns out, had quite fantastic business experience before. Therefore, he successfully expanded and opened Louis Vuitton stores worldwide. Henry managed to increase the company's revenue by 1,200%. Due to the rapid development of the company, Henry decided to go public, or in other words, make LV a publicly traded company. Finally, in 1987, LV reached nearly $1 billion in sales. But oh, the glamour has its dark side. Henry decided to merge with Moet Hennessy, a liquor company, to form the conglomerate LVMH. Initially, Henry thought that by joining forces, they could expand even more. However, Henry didn't get along well and often clashed with the president of Moet Hennessy. Henry tried to seek help from his friend, who was quite successful in the real estate industry, named Bernard Arnault, to become an investor and hopefully be a part of LVMH to help handle the heated situation at that time. However, Bernard Arnault secretly bought 43% of LVMH shares, and Moet Hennessy supported Bernard to gain more power. Henry felt very betrayed, considering that initially Bernard Arnault was supposed to help him, but the opposite happened. Henry was stabbed in the back. Henry eventually brought this case to court, but he lost. The judge sided with Bernard Arnault. Finally, due to severe stress and feeling betrayed, Henry decided to leave the company. At that time, for the first time in history, there were no Vuitton family shareholders in the company. As of October 9, 2023, Bernard Arnault is now the second richest person globally, with a mind-blowing wealth of $229.6 billion. Hold on, because we're not done yet. Chapter 4. Lessons Learned. So, what can we learn from this story? Lesson 1. Money isn't the primary factor in achieving success. Instead, investing in oneself or learning the necessary skills to become wealthy is far more crucial. This is evident in Louis's story. He left home without money or shelter, but throughout his journey, he learned valuable skills, eventually becoming a great trunk maker. Lesson 2. Don't trust too much in anyone's help, no matter how great they may seem. Everything should be carefully considered. If not, it could turn out like Henry's situation, where the majority of his shares were taken by his own friend, Bernard Arnault. However, it can't be denied that Bernard Arnault is also incredibly skilled in business and has managed the company to become one of the relevant figures in the world today. And there you have it. Fashion aficionados, the roller coaster ride through the mesmerizing history of Louis Vuitton. From a young vagabond to a global icon, the brand's journey is a testament to resilience, creativity, and a touch of glamour. So what's your take on Louis Vuitton's wild ride? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're living for these fashion sagas. As we wrap up, remember that your journey might just be a trunk away from greatness. Stay fabulous, stay glamorous, and keep chasing those dreams. Until next time, this is the dazzling tale of Louis Vuitton signing off.